Good Wednesday morning to you students. Welcome to geometry class today. I am not planning on giving you any class time today to study for your quiz that you're going to take in about 1 to 2 minutes. However, there's nothing wrong with me reminding you that you're going to take a quiz after I'm done making announcements. So, if you want to glance at your notes while I'm making announcements, that is totally fair game. Remember, you're going to list out from memory the 3 characteristics of a 30, 60, 90 triangle. You're also going to list out from memory the characteristics of a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So with all of that in mind, here are the announcements. You will have a quiz on Friday. Tomorrow I will go into great detail as to what the quiz covers. All right. You do owe me homework from last night, so please turn your homework in at this time. I got an email from Mr. Harmon, and boy, I really appreciate him doing that. We've been having some problems with our modem. It's shut down right now, so I cannot go online, but he told me, I believe that as of 8:25, Ashley was absent, so I'm asking if you were not here on Tuesday, you need to watch the video, make it up, and get your homework done by Friday. That's totally within the school handbook. I think you have twice as many days as you miss. If you missed a day, you have 2 days to make it up, so please get that done no later than Friday. And Tara, I'm pretty sure you said you did not turn your homework in, so please stay on top of your homework, guys. I'm not going to announce this to embarrass you. I love all the students that I teach. I care about you guys, but you've got to get your homework done. So anyways, please turn your homework in from last night. Please turn your homework in from last night. And that's basically it. I want you to get out a blank sheet of paper, please, at this time. And it should look like this. If you'll look up at the screen, I want you to put your name. Notice bonus points has an X. I'm not allowing any bonus points for this quiz, so no bonus points. And then on one side of your paper, I want you to put 45, 45, 90, and then underneath it 1, 2, 3. And then I want you to put 30, 60, 90, and then beneath it 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to start giving the answers in about, well, I'll let you know. So you are going to want to, when I tell you, pause this video, okay? So be ready to do that. Go ahead and get out your blank sheets of paper. Please do your own work. Go ahead and start working on this quiz. And you will want to pause the video at this time, because in about 5 seconds I'm going to go over the answers. So please pause the video now. Okay, hopefully everybody's quiz is done. I'm going to go over the answers now, so please make sure everyone's quizzes are done. Make sure your pencils are down, and please don't cheat. Real quick, we should know this, and these can be in any order. I think one thing we said in the 45, 45, 90 is a leg has to equal a leg. Another thing we said is that the hypotenuse is, let's see, the hypotenuse equals the leg times square root of 2, and we said the leg equals hypotenuse divided by square root of 2. So there's the 3 characteristics of a 45, 45, 90 triangle. 30, 60, 90, again, these 3 can be in any order, these 3 can be in any order. One thing is the hypotenuse is always twice the shorter leg. And we know the longer leg equals the shorter leg times square root of 3. And we know the shorter leg equals the longer leg divided by square root of 3. So I hope you did well. I told you what to memorize. You need to know these, or you're going to be lost later, okay? So please pause now. Make sure you're, not the video, let the video run, but please pause what you're doing. Make sure your name is on your quiz. Please don't cheat or change anything. Turn your quizzes in now to Mr. Harmon or whoever the supervising teacher is. And we're going to move on. So I'm going to wait just a couple seconds, and then we're going to move on. Okay, for a couple bonus points, I want you to go and get out a scrap sheet of paper or a regular sheet of paper, whatever you want to use. You're welcome to use your book or notes, but please don't use other students. I want you to, you can copy this problem down or just work on it from the screen here. I don't care, but here's your right triangle. You have a leg of 6, a leg of 9, and a hypotenuse of 3, square root of 13. The triangle is ABC. I want you to find the tangent of B, and I want you to find the tangent of C. So I want you to go ahead now and work on both of these. I will give you 1 bonus point if you get this one right, and I will give you 1 bonus point if you get this one right. And go ahead and pause the video now, because I'm going to go ahead and go over these answers now. So please pause the video, and then when you're finished, turn the video back on. Okay, here we go. Anytime you're asked to find the tangent of an angle, we should know by now the formula is opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. So I'm dealing with the tangent of what angle? B. So I go to B and I go straight across, and that's my opposite side. Hypotenuse is always the hypotenuse. So there's only one side left. That has to be my adjacent side. Okay? So with that in mind, the tangent of B is opposite over adjacent. So opposite goes up top. That's 9. And adjacent is 6. Now, I forgot to give you really good instructions. That's my fault. So if you have this for an answer, you may have 1 bonus point. If you reduced it like this, you may have 1 bonus point. Or if you wrote it as a decimal, you may have 1 bonus point. Now, I'm not saying you can have 3 bonus points, okay? You can only have 1. I'm just simply saying any of those answers are sufficient. Let's move on now to the tangent of C. The tangent of C, anytime you're asked to find the tangent of an angle, the ratio, of course, is opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent, and with that in mind, here we go. We're finding the tangent of C, so we put our pencil on C, and we go straight across. So now this side is no longer called the adjacent, it's called the opposite side. Hypotenuse stays hypotenuse, so this side here has to be your adjacent side. So the tangent of C is opposite over adjacent. Opposite is 6, adjacent is 9. If you had that, I have no problem with that. Or if you had this, I have no problem with that. Or if you have 0.6 with the bar over it, I have no problem with that. Or if you rounded to 0.7, I have no problem with that. So any of those answers will give you 1 bonus point. All right, I'm going to pause a second while you grab your notebooks. Let's jump into today's notes. So I'll pause just a second. Please get your notebooks out. Get ready to take some notes. And it is a Wednesday, so we do have to go fast today. I'm going to need you to finish your homework in class. So I'm going to go pretty fast today. All right. Okay, here we go. This is your heading for today. We're going to look at using the tangent ratio to find missing sides. Actually I misspelled this. That's T-A-N-G-E-N-T. So squeeze an N in there. Sorry about that. Using the tangent ratio to find missing sides. We've never done this. Totally brand new. It's really cool. I need you to take some really good notes and pay attention. Lesson 10.4. And the date today is the 1st. Today's the 1st, all right? Using the tangent ratio to find missing sides. Lesson 10.4. The date is the 1st. All right. I need you to write a sentence down underneath this, okay? And there it is. Throughout the class period today, remember, write this down. Remember, the formula for tangent is tangent of an angle. We just called the angle x. Tangent of an angle equals opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. Please, please don't forget that. We're going to use that the entire class period. Okay? All right. Well, here we go. I'm actually going to go ahead and take my mouse here and quickly cut and paste this because we're going to use this, like I just said, throughout the entire class period. And let's go ahead and get started. So I'd like you to somewhat quickly copy this triangle into your notes. And I want you to notice that we're missing one side of a right triangle. Does everybody see that we're missing one side of a right triangle? Now, we would normally use Pythagorean's theorem, but we can't use Pythagorean's theorem because in order to use Pythagorean's theorem, you have to know at least 2 sides, and we don't. We only know one side. Do you see what I'm saying? You can only use Pythagorean's theorem to find missing sides of a right triangle when you know 2 sides and you find the 3rd side. So Pythagorean's theorem is out the door. Now, we could use our properties for a 45-45-90 triangle or a 30-60-90 triangle, but this triangle is not a 45-45-90 triangle, nor is it a 30-60-90 triangle. So, with that in mind, we're going to do something today in which we use this formula right here to help us. Are you ready? Go ahead and write down tangent of x equals opposite over adjacent. Please write that in your notes. Now, as you're writing that down, please notice we have 3 unknowns. Please copy this in your notes. Do you see the 3 unknowns? No, Mr. Earhart, we don't. Well, then please look and I will show you. Tangent of x. There's an unknown right there. Opposite. That's an unknown. I have no idea what the opposite side is yet. I might in a minute. I don't yet. And adjacent. I have 3 unknowns. Now I have a question for you. If I could fill in 2 of those unknowns, could I not then solve the equation? Sure I could. So let's see if I can't take this tangent ratio formula and fill in 3 unknowns. For example, tangent of an angle x. Well, I've got an idea. Let's say I'm going to take the tangent of 22. I mean, that is the angle, right? Does everybody see that? See that angle right there? So let's go ahead and say we're going to take the tangent of 22. That's pretty simple. Now, if I'm taking the tangent of 22, what have I taught you? Have I not taught you to put your pen on the angle that you're taking the tangent of and go straight across? And we call this the what side? Opposite. We call this the what side? Hypotenuse. So this side here has to be your what side? Adjacent. I feel like we need to do that again. So let's do it again. Everybody pay attention, please. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and put 22 in for x, so tangent of 22. Now I taught you whatever angle you're taking the tangent of. In this case, we're taking the tangent of 22. You put your pen on that angle. And then I said go straight across to the opposite side, and we call that opposite. The hypotenuse is always the hypotenuse, and there's only one side left, and we call that adjacent. Well, I can do some filling in. For x, I already put 22. Now for opposite, I'm going to put 3, and for adjacent, I put x. This is so easy. You did it. You filled it in. Now we can solve this equation for x. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Mr. Earhart, I have no idea how to solve that equation. And I understand that, and I'm going to help you do that, okay? So let me go ahead and give you a hand with this. There we go. There we go. And there we go. All right, so here's the equation. Now let me give you a hand with this. Now watch. Whatever is in the bottom of the fraction, you want to multiply both sides by that. Or just trust me and watch, okay? Just watch. Whatever is in the bottom of this equation, I want to multiply this side by x, and I want to multiply this side by x. Now you say why? I'm going to show you why in a second, but I want to say that again for a third time. Whatever is in the bottom of the fraction, in this case, what was in the bottom of the fraction? X. You multiply both sides by x. Let me show you why we did that. If you multiply this side by x, 3 is being divided by x, so when you multiply x, they cancel out, just leaving you with 3. That's why we did that. Now over here we have x times tangent of 22. Now, I have a question for you. Would you look down here, please? If I had 2x equals 3 in an equation, the 2 and the x are multiplying. Do you not divide both sides by 2 to get rid of the 2? Have you not been taught that by me? Sure you have. So with that in mind, if I want to get x by itself and these 2 are multiplying, then I'm going to divide by tangent of 22. But if I divide one side by the tangent of 22, I've got to divide the other side by tangent of 22. Now what happens to these? They cancel out, and I'm left with x. Cool. And then 3 over tangent of 22. Look at that. You did it. You found the missing side. Now, you say, well, Mr. Earhart, what's the tangent of 22? Well, type it in your calculator. I'm going to go ahead and cross it off, and I'm going to put a number right here. Now, make sure you're in degrees. Type in tangent of 22 into your calculator, and you get this right here, 0.4040. So now we're finished as soon as we take 3 divided by, remember this big fraction bar means divide, 3 divided by 0.4040. And if you do that correctly, you will get 7.425. Now this is new. It should be a little weird. That's normal. But let's practice about 3 more. Then I want you to practice a bunch of homework in class today. All right? Okay, would you please copy this into your notes? I want us to find the missing side of this triangle. So copy this in your notes. While you're copying it down, please listen to me. We cannot use Pythagorean's theorem because you have to know at least 2 sides, and we only know one side. You cannot use 30, 60, 90 or 45, 45, 90 because this triangle is not either one of those 2 types of triangles. So we're really in a little bit of trouble here, okay? So what we're going to use our formula, tangent of x x. I'm going to start putting O over A to save me time. Opposite over adjacent. All right. So tangent of x equals opposite over adjacent. There we go. Now again, if I could have used Pythagorean's theorem, then by all means use it. If I could have used my 30, 60, 90 shortcuts, then by all means use it. If I could have used my 45, 45, 90 shortcuts, then by all means use it. But you can't use any of those, so we're going to have to use this formula here. Now, tangent of x. Well, I see an angle up there I can take the tangent of. I can take the tangent of 55 degrees. Everybody see that okay? So I'm going to take the tangent of 55. Now what I've taught you to do is always put your pen on the angle that you're taking the tangent of, 55. Now go straight across, and we call this the what side? Opposite side. And this is our hypotenuse, our hip cool side, hypotenuse. And this side over here is our adjacent side. There we go. So tangent of 55 equals opposite, well that's x, over adjacent, well that's 7. There we go. Now we are ready to solve this equation. So you've filled everything in. You've done a really good job. Now let's go ahead and let's solve this equation. Now what did I teach you students to do in the last problem? I said whatever is in the bottom of the fraction, and are y'all listening? What is in the bottom of the fraction? Say it out loud. What's in the bottom of the fraction? Good, 7, exactly. So we have a 7 in the bottom of the fraction. So we're going to multiply this side by 7, and we're going to multiply this side by 7. Okay, so whatever's in the bottom of the fraction, you multiply both sides by that denominator. Now you did that because these will cancel, leaving you with just x. And then 7 times tangent of 55. Man, we're finished. X is all by itself. This was easier than the last problem. 7 tangent of 55. Now here's what you do. X is all by itself. So we have 7 times. Now, what is the tangent of 55? Well, I have no idea. I have to use my calculator. Type into your calculator. And the tangent of 55 is 1.4281. 1.4281. All right? So the tangent of 55 equals this. And now we take 7 times that number, and we will get 9.9970. So 9.9970 equals x. I'm going to go a little faster. Let's do 2 more. Let's do 2 more and then homework time, okay? So here we go. All right. Let's go ahead and let's find this missing side. We do not have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. That's no good. We do not have a 30, 60, 90, so that's no good. And we cannot use Pythagorean's theorem because we only know one side. We don't know 2 other sides. So we're going to have to use this formula. Tangent of x equals opposite over adjacent. That could be a 0, so I'm going to put a P with it so there's no confusion. Opposite over adjacent. Now let's start filling in some numbers. Tangent of x. Well, there's one angle here, 40, so let's take the tangent of 40. Okay? Now, whenever you're taking the tangent of an angle, I've taught you to put your pencil on that angle, then go straight across. This is my opposite side. This is my hypotenuse, and this is my adjacent side right here. So, tangent of 40 equals, what goes up top in my fraction? Opposite. What is opposite? 5. Okay. What goes in the bottom? Adjacent, and that's x. So there, I filled in all my numbers, and now I'm ready to go ahead and solve this equation. Now, what have I taught you to do? Whatever is in the denominator, in this case it's what? X. Whatever's in the denominator, you multiply both sides by that denominator. So I'm going to multiply one side by x, and I'm going to multiply the other side by x. Now, these cancel, leave me with just a 5. And over here I have x times tangent of 40. All right? Now, I want to get x all by itself. So if x is multiplying by tangent, then the way to get rid of the tangent is to divide one side by tangent of 40 and divide the other side by tangent of 40. These would cancel out, leaving you with x equals 5 over tangent of 40. Now, I don't know what tangent of 40 is. I'm going to have to type that in my calculator. I don't have all of these memorized. So tangent of 40, let's see. Tangent 40 would be 0.8391. Now remember, if you're not getting these numbers out, you need to make sure you're in degrees and not radians. And I told you yesterday to get some help from Mrs. Walker or someone like that if you need some help with your calculator, okay? All right, so now for tangent of 40, I have 0.8391. Now we type into our calculators 5 divided by 0.8391, and you should get 5.9588. 5.9588. So let me take this and, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Take this, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Let's grab this and drag it back to the screen. And now we got a mess, don't we? I shouldn't have done that. Well, anyway, what I was trying to show you was, students, is don't lose sight of the trees for the forest. When you found X right here, don't forget you were finding the side of this triangle right here, okay? I believe we have one more left and then time for homework, okay? So here we go. All right, let's try this. We do not have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. We do not have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And we do not know at least two sides, so we can't use Pythagorean's theorem. So we're going to have to use our formula. Tangent of x equals opposite over adjacent. Now, tangent of x, that's an angle. We're going to use 48. That's the only angle there. So the tangent of 48 degrees equals, now put your pen on 48, go straight across. This is your opposite side. This is your hypotenuse side. So the only side left has to be your adjacent side. So tangent of 48 equals opposite over adjacent. Well, opposite is x and adjacent is 12. There we go. There's your formula. So, or there's your equation. So we have correctly made our substitutions. And now let's go ahead and let's see if we can't solve this equation. Now, what have I taught you to do? I have taught you guys to, whatever is in the bottom of the fraction, you multiply both sides by that number. So we have a 12. We're going to multiply this side by 12, and we're going to multiply this side by 12. Now we did that so that these numbers cancel out, leaving you with just x. And over here we have 12 tangent of 48. Now students, look, I really have 12 times, look, x is already by itself, so I'm done with that. I've just got to type this into my calculator. Tangent of 48, 1.1106, so 1.1106. Nice zero there. And then multiply it by 12, so times 12. And you get 13.3274. 13.3274 equals x. So 13.3 is what we'll say you found the length of x right here. This side right here is 13.3. All right. Okay, with that in mind, I want us to go ahead and jump into our homework. It is a Wednesday. You don't have to finish it. I think you should. I will give you 2 bonus points if you haven't finished by tomorrow. Please remember that everybody turns homework in tomorrow. Everybody. I don't care if you did one problem or all the problems. I want everybody to turn their homework in tomorrow. So please do that, whether you finished it or not, and go ahead and get started at this time. The video you'll want to watch right now to help you is Berean Academy Geometry Bag. Now be careful here. It's 10-4 Part 2 homework, because this is the second day we have spent on 10.4. So Berean Academy Geometry 10-4 Part 2 homework. That is a video you'll want to watch, okay? So please get started on your homework now. You can watch the video if it helps you. I hope you'll go home and finish this assignment. It's really reasonable. It's what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 problems. 8 problems. I'd really encourage you to do this for the practice and for the bonus points.